Meal prepping saves you time and money, but it is boring to eat the same meal over and over again. So in this fall meal prep, a few components are prepared and then put together into different meals during the week that are exciting to eat. So in less than 2 hours you have 10 meals for your whole week, which saves you both time and also money. So we are starting off with crispy baked tofu, and you can actually use whatever tofu, just not silken tofu, but I'm using just regular firm tofu, and chop it up into cubes, add it to a large mixing bowl together with some spices and the important part, cornstarch. You can also use arrowroot powder. The cornstarch is important because that's the one thing that will make these crispy. So now they are all nice and crispy and soft on the inside. And while they are cooling down, you can prepare the rice, or you can also use whatever grain you like quinoa, barley, whatever, and yeah, just let it boil. You can find this meal prep and meal plan in my app, and in the app you can change for how many people you are cooking for and create a shopping list accordingly. So to these chickpeas we're adding some oil and salt. If you want to spice them up, you can do so after the roasting. So yeah, just add them to an oven tray lined with parchment paper and roast in the oven for 30 to 40 minutes or until golden, and stirring them halfway through. There is no week without a hearty curry in our household, so I just had to include a curry. So we are gonna saute some scallions, and I'm also chopping up the green parts and storing them in a container to use as toppings during the week. Even if this meal prep is Asian inspired by flavor, I'm still using produce with fall vibes. So here I'm chopping up some sweet potato, and you can of course use some butternut squash or any pumpkin that you like. I'm also using some cauliflower. Broccoli works well as well. For protein in this one, I'm using some rinsed dry red lentils, which I'm just sauteing with the spices for a minute. Then I'm adding some water, coconut milk. I'm always using full fat coconut milk because that's the delicious one. Either way, just add in all of the sweet potatoes, cauliflower, and you can add in more veggies of course if you like that. And let it simmer for about 15 minutes or until the lentils, sweet potato and cauliflower is soft. Okay, this sauce and dressing is the star in this week's meal plan. It's so good. It has a base of peanut butter and miso paste and also sambal olek. If you don't like peanut butter or you can't have nuts, you can also switch it out for tahini, or why not almond butter, it works amazing as well. And then you're just gonna stir everything up and add some water to reach a creamy but still runnable, drizzable consistency. So a nice topping for the week. I usually do this with red onion, but cabbage is so healthy for you and packed with nutrition. Plus it pairs really well with the meals we are going to have this week. You can prep your veggies if you like to, and like I'm doing this with my cucumber. If you're gonna do that, place a paper towel in the bottom of a container. Then add cucumbers and finish off with another paper towel. This way they will stay crisp for a few days. So I'm storing the curry in 2 small containers, which are gonna be 2 curry meals, and in 1 big container because we're gonna blend this up into a soup later this week. I'm including a little bonus. You can have this as a snack during your week. They are delicious, needing only 4 ingredients and no baking. So the ingredients are only some dates, tahini, cacao powder and salt. Place it in the freezer for about half an hour before cutting them up into squares, making them how big or how small you want. And meanwhile you can melt some dairy-free chocolate. I'm usually blending my chocolate with some melted coconut oil, but yeah, just cover the squares in chocolate, top them off with some chopped walnuts, place them in the fridge until the chocolate is set, and voila! Now look at this beautiful prep with lots of color. It's vibrant, healthy, nourishing, and it's such a wonderful feeling having good food for your entire week, making your life so much easier. Now this is how to put together the meals throughout the week. I'm starting with the fresh ingredients like the cucumber, and this bowl I call miso nourish bowl, and you basically just add all ingredients into a bowl. You only have to slice or chop up a few things which we haven't prepped, but if you follow the meal plan you can decide if you want to prep them or not. Now it's time to bring out those chickpeas, cucumbers, scallions, pickled red cabbage. I'm mashing up some avocado on the bottom to make everything stick, and adding the chickpeas, cucumber, scallions, some fresh cilantro, pickled red cabbage, and the beautiful sauce. Okay, now we're gonna make a soup out of the curry that we made. So just add half of the curry batch that you made into a blender together with some water. Then you can either eat it cold if you're not at home, or add it to a saucepan and bring it to a simmer, then it's ready to be served. I added some vegan yogurt on top together with the crispy chickpeas, and then some homemade vegan parmesan. You find the recipe in my app, but it's optional. I would suggest making this one in the evening because you're gonna need to saute some mushrooms. I'm just dry sauteing to release some liquid. Then I'm adding in some oil to make them a little bit more crispy together with a shallot onion. Sauteing that until the onion is starting to become translucent, and adding some garlic. This already smells amazing. Then I'm also added some snap peas. Sauteing until vibrant green and tender. Then I'm adding the tofu, and these tofu bites are going to crisp up again because we are cooking in some oil. Meanwhile I'm cooking some noodles. And now the magic. We are gonna pour in the rest of the peanut miso sauce together with some water and stir it around on medium heat and let the sauce thicken up a little bit before we add in the noodles. And then stir everything around into a creamy, delicious mess. This was my boyfriend's favorite meal of this week, and actually my daughter's too. I understand them, it's so flavorful, and yeah, who doesn't like noodles? And we cannot forget these brownies. They are insane, they're gonna melt in your mouth. Anyways, if you want the full meal plan in details, check out my app below in the description, and I'll see you in the next video.